We've received quite a bit of interest in my free to be workshop. So to that effect, beneath this video is a link that will give you a description for the workshop. And we've also included a special discount. So if that's something you would be interested in, I would invite you to click that link, and I hope that you would find the course to be quite beneficial. As we seek to have an understanding of the pattern of life called narcissism, I'm hoping we can do so in such a way that goes beyond just vilifying these individuals that we may not particularly like. I'm hoping we can take our understanding of their pattern of life in such a way that it prompts us to ask, what's the cleaner alternative? You see, narcissists begin with the notion that says, first of all, I'm pretty enamored with me. In fact, they're very self-absorbed individuals, but then they take it even further. They take it into an attitude of entitlement, a strong need to be in control. They want to be superior over you. They operate with what we refer to as alternate reality. They're propping up a false front, and they try to create a narrative around themselves in such a way that allows them to hold themselves as better than, when in fact they're covering their deep insecurity. Ultimately, I believe that narcissism is an anti-love way of living. And to me, one of the most important ingredients of a successful life, a life well lived, is knowing and living into the essence of love. And today I want to see if we can zero in on 4 aspects of love that narcissists tend not to understand. But as we look into these 4 aspects of love, I'm hoping it gives you a deeper insight as to where they're coming from. But also I'm hoping it can prompt you to think, what do I understand these elements of love? Now, to get right to it, one of the first aspects of love that narcissists do not understand is love means that you are a psychologically aware person. Before you can have any kind of proactive engagements with other individuals of a healthy nature, first of all, you need to know who you are. And so loving individuals like to ask the question, who am I? What are my pluses? What are my minuses? What influences have been a part of who I am that make me out to be what I am? Why do I act as I do? And so loving individuals want to operate with a keen sense of insight and awareness. And not only do they have that willingness to ask those questions of themselves, but they also want to have that same curiosity about other individuals. When you're in my presence, who are you? And what makes you tick? And what causes you to be as you are? What are some of your unique experiences, whether it's cultural or familial or otherwise? What kind of things go into the making of the way that you do life? I want to know. And so when we operate with this sense of psychological awareness, then it sets up the potential for other ingredients like empathy and curiosity and connectedness at the heart level. But you can't do that until you know who you are and who you're dealing with. A second aspect of love that narcissists tend not to zero in on at all is love means that you have good impulse control. We all have various emotions that are associated with our hurts or frustrations. You know, the fact is, you may say or do something that I disagree with, or it disappoints me, or you can be very egregious in the way that you engage with me. Non-loving individuals just blurt out whatever they want to blurt out, and they can have a very strong reaction in such a way that other individuals set their pace for them. In healthy relationships where we understand the way of love, it's like, wait a minute, I know that I have my impulses, and I'm not even going to say that some of your anger or hurt or disappointment is going to be wrong, because sometimes it may be very valid. But at the same time, I don't want that to be such that I just let my emotions run away with me, and I wind up thinking and acting and behaving in ways that I later come to regret. In those moments of disagreement, we have boundaries. I'm responsible for me, just as I would hope that you would be responsible for you. But in boundaries, I've got a good definition of who I am and where I'm going. And I've developed key ideals that I'm going to live with. And that's going to be part of what I'm known for. And so impulse control is a part of you being a loving person. Just as an aside, how many narcissists do you know that have really strong impulse control? Typically not. They let their emotions run away with them in such a way that that they become very, very difficult. And then when you try to talk with them about it, they just blame, as opposed to thinking, going back to number one, I need to be a psychologically aware person. They just can't do that. A third aspect of a healthy approach toward love is you prioritize acceptance over correctness. Now, when I talk about accepting people as they are, notice that I don't say you condone what other individuals are. But the fact is, a narcissist come to you not with a spirit of acceptance, but they have an agenda. It's like, okay, now, when you're in my presence, there's a certain way you're supposed to feel and think and act, and they live with what I refer to as imperative thinking, which is kind of a pre-adolescent way of thinking. Here's what the rule book says, and I wrote the rule book, by the way. You must be this, you can't be this, you have to do this, and then when you do everything according to what I say, then I accept you. Well, that's not acceptance at all. Non-narcissistic individuals who are living the way of love realize, well, I have my ideals and I know you have yours. And in the moments where we're divergent from one another, I can still accept the fact that that's where you are. And again, it's not condoning. But if another individual is rude or mean or whatever, it's like, I don't like that at all. But I don't feel like it's my job to force them into some sort of agenda. I accept that's where you are. And then, of course, what I'm going to do is I'm going to make my adjustments accordingly. And hopefully there can be a sense that says when you're in my presence, it's not my job to fit you into my agenda. I do, like I say, I do have my beliefs and preferences, but I don't feel like I have to coerce you into whatever it is that I need you to be. I'm not going to put you inside a fence and say, stay inside this mold. That's not what loving individuals do. Narcissists, that's paramount in how they interact with other individuals. They want people to stay inside their mold. And then a fourth aspect of love that narcissists tend not to understand at all is you want to be proactive rather than reactive in the offering of goodness. One of the things that I believe is I can show goodness and decency and honor and respect as long as you act exactly the way I want you to act. Well, actually, anyone can do that. A loving individual says, well, I want to live a life of goodness, not because you have done something to earn it or to deserve it, but I live out my goodness because it's in my character to do so. And it goes back to that insight and awareness and having a proactive way of living. I want to make sure that I'm the kind of person that simply lives according to healthy ingredients, whether you've given me a good excuse to do so or not. Narcissists, they operate on the notion that says, what have you done for me lately? If you've done nice things for me, okay, I love you, maybe. But if you haven't done nice things, well, then I reject you. And so their goodness is merely a reactive way, and it's basically their way of saying, I'm only going to be good when I get my way. It goes back to their control and their entitled aspects or elements as they engage with you, and it's not really love at all. So you can see that narcissists, with their self-enamored and need for control style of life, don't really know how to live into the way of love. I've got a couple of questions that I want to ask you as we're discussing this. First of all, do you know and live into the way of love? Because I'm hoping that as you see their pattern, you can see that it's bankrupt and it's not going to go anywhere in a clean and healthy way. So I'm hoping that you can examine that in such a way that it makes a difference in the way that you engage with people. And then second, can you stay inside your pattern of love even as the narcissist proves they don't get it? And that's hard. Now, again, I'm going to go back and say you still have your emotions, you have your priorities, you have your preferences, and so we're going to stay true to all of that. But at the same time, do you have a sense that says, I want to live with decency leading the way? And a narcissist, if they don't have an understanding of love and goodness and all that goes with that, they're not going to dissuade me from being what I know that I want and need to be. Ultimately, as you love becomes an investment. It's an investment in life, it's an investment in yourself, and it's an investment in the way that you do business with other individuals, if we can put it that way. Now, just like a financial investment, sometimes the investment turns out to be pretty good, but other times the investment is not worth taking. And that's the sad part. There can be times when you want to invest in other individuals with your love, but the probability may exist that it's going to be such a poor investment and the yield is going to be so low that you may have to pull back and engage with people who do know how to manage love in a way that's consistent with how you do. So the bottom line is this. Narcissists have such a self-absorbed way of thinking and being that they don't really have a good appreciation for the nature of love. These are individuals who take their psychological cues from all sorts of things out there in the environment. I'm hoping that you and I can have that sense that says I have a mind that's awakened and I have an insight that guides me and I want to go somewhere good. If I find that narcissist is not one that I can invest in with any kind of good results, then I'm going to take my investment and go somewhere else. But the bottom line is I'm going to do what I know is best. It would be nice if that person could go with me. If not, I'm going to live into my best version of myself. I hope that videos like this give you some good food for thought, and please know that I appreciate so much you letting me be on your journey with you. I believe these things that I'm talking about down at the very core of my being, and so I hope you hear my heart when I talk about this. If you've not already subscribed, I would encourage you to hit that subscribe button. Also, you'll see a join button, and that'll allow you to go into what we call our Surviving Narcissism's Team Healthy. It's a very minimal monthly fee, and it allows you to have access to extras. Laura does a Q&A time once a week. I have a Q&A time once a week, and then we also have extra videos and interviews and things like that that are a part of that. So avail yourself to that. If you have a need for counseling, and many times as you think about topics like this, you might find that getting a good counselor to help you unpack it would be helpful. If there's someone in your area, I would encourage you to seek that out. If you don't have that person, or if you would prefer differently, we have a link below that will take you to online counseling, which is very popular right now. And the link is one of our sponsors, and it allows you to be have available a whole team of counselors and therapists who can assist you if that becomes a need that you would need to take advantage of. In addition, we have links to our books. We have our courses. This is me. We have new ones on the way, and webinars, etc. I hope that you're the kind of person that says, I know the essence of love. I live the essence of love. It would be nice if that narcissist could go along with you. In the event that it doesn't happen, stay steady, stay true to yourself, and be a person that says, I want to be a difference maker in my world.